All right, guys, so excited about this video because I have supercharged the truck finally. Adding a supercharger to the Tacoma has been a dream mod of mine since I bought the Tacoma. Probably day one, I was thinking, man, I'd love to supercharge this, but they're just expensive, and there's kind of a mixed review out there on superchargers on these trucks. A lot of people said it was a night and day difference and it's the best thing they did, and other people even went as far as to say they hated it and they took it off. So that's the old supercharger, but Magnuson actually just came out with a brand new supercharger after 20 years of using the same style supercharger. They have a new one, and it's 30% larger. It's a totally different rotating group inside, and it's just totally different. And I feel lucky enough, I am lucky enough to have gone down to Magnuson in Ventura, talk with Todd, their marketing director, and he took me for a tour around their shop, and I got sent home with a brand new supercharger to put on the truck and share with you guys how it's working out. So I am super excited. I've had the supercharger on the truck for a couple weeks now, so I feel like I can kind of share my thoughts on it honestly, and give you more of a review than just installing it and then day one giving you a review. So it's been on the truck for a couple weeks. But yeah, let's go back to the video that I shot a couple months ago in Ventura at the HQ, and then we'll recap with what I think about the supercharger so far. All right, spoiler alert, I really like it. Todd.
Micah,
dude,
welcome to Magnuson.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you can tell already, but I'm super, super excited to be here. This is kind of like the holy grail of upgrades you can do to the truck, and it's like one of the last things that's untouched. The engine is untouched on this, so.
You've been patient. You've been patient, man.
And I've been rewarded. I'm so excited. So yeah, we're here at Magnuson in Ventura. Strangely, not that far from where the truck was built, and I used to live in Carpinteria, so this is like strange. I didn't even realize it was here.
How close it was.
Yeah, so I'm super excited. Todd's gonna give me a little bit of a tour around the shop. They do a lot of really cool stuff here, including machining and installs, and machine shops are kind of near and dear to me. My dad used to work in them, so I'm excited to get a look around. And then I think we're gonna take a look at something brand new from you guys that might be maybe might be going on my truck in the next couple days. So
yeah, super excited, and like to show you around and your audience and kind of show you what we do here.
Dude, I'm excited. Let's get into it.
All right, sounds good, man.
I'm sorry if the audio gets a little crazy. It is an active machine shop.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, let's go take a look. Okay.
Yeah, it's we're gonna start kind of where the process starts, and that's where our raw materials will come into the building, and we'll go through the initial QC process.
Is there anything I can't show in here?
No.
Okay. Then we'll be zooming in on stuff.
The funny thing is, Micah, you were a local in this area for a while. This building, like way back in the day, was an indoor skate park.
No way! I brought my skateboard and my skate shoes. I'm like,
I don't know.
Wait, I think was it a skate church park or like a?
I think it was like an indoor skate park. Like it was in a video game at some point. I know.
No
that
way.
Too. Yeah.
Some heritage.
Yeah, some heritage.
I knew this place had a badass vibe. Yeah. Counterculture vibe.
Yeah. In this crate it's a slightly smaller version of what we use currently in the 3.4 Tacomas. What you can see is that there's a twist to these lobes, and there's 3 lobes. Okay. So this is a tried and true technology. This is what we've been using on your application since TRD days.
Yeah.
So nothing wrong with it. But this is the TVS technologies, and that's 4 lobes. So see how...
Do they contact at all?
They don't.
That's crazy. So
that's how close the tolerance is, though. But you can see how much more twist is in the TVS comparatively.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
I mean...
So is it... I'm just thinking like gears or like a propeller, you're crushing the air basically faster than you would be like.
And You were asking about contact.
Yeah.
So this abradable black coating, what that does is it is fat, but when we run them for the first time, it like makes a fingerprint.
Okay.
And it's really
Okay, so it just kind of, it almost just blends in. Oh yeah. Oh, look at the
So
tolerance
that
on those
shows you
gears.
how the gears mesh and how tight those are. And these are that's all set from Eden.
Yeah.
So this is very precise manufacturing.
I like the thought of, man, well, just obviously the two rotating masses have to work perfectly together. Exactly, perfectly timed with the tooth.
Right.
The thought behind just the play,
all
the stuff I can't even think of. Just like
those teeth are,
well, how fine they are, but also just the width of the teeth and the number of teeth to make it like possible to not, basically impossible to time it perfectly. That's so cool.
So yeah, so that's
because I could imagine doing that and be like, I got it, and then like spin it 3 times and it binds up or something. Like, oh no.
Once it gets 3/4 of the way down,
it's boom.
You got a problem.
Okay. Well, this is a prototype for like what's on
these
mine.
are like early castings that we probably used to set up the machine on.
Okay. Oh, so we were just looking at the rotating
the rotating group.
Okay, you say group. I was like, was it unit or group? But that's where those two ends go. It's actually
so those are bearing surfaces that get pushed in and out.
So that's super rigid and.
Yep.
Oh, that's so cool. That's inside the.
So these are sacrificial units that we use to get the machining process set up and program made.
Thanks for the behind-the-scenes tour of all this.
Yeah, I'll show you a little bit of assembly.
Okay.
Where
Okay, we were just leaving and I realized I forgot to kind of just talk to you a little bit about like everything that's new and improved on the new unit and why we even have a new unit. So I'm just gonna let you kind of go here.
Mike and I have talked about this, so it's probably why you were not necessarily like thinking, let's talk about it on camera. But so this is the new 3rd generation unit. Yep. So we're using one of those 1320 TVS rotating groups in it. So it's that 4-lobe design with the high helix. And
4-lobe versus 3 of the previous generation.
Of the previous 62. So
if you want the old one, you're gonna have 1 less lobe.
2 less lobes.
2 less lobes.
Yeah,
okay.
6 compared
no
to
one
8.
wants that. So.
But I mean, we've had questions because we've been talking about this for a while. We've had some consumer questions of like, why are you guys changing? You guys have been making this for so long, and it's true. We've been making the current generation for a long time, and I mean, the real thrust of the matter is the housing tooling is just at the end of life. So while we're still cranking out housings, we're having more loss. There's more of them are not passing that QC test if they even come to hear from the foundry. So we knew we were going to have to invest in a new tooling for housings. And at that point we were kind of like, well, if we're going to make that investment, because it's either you do or you don't, do we just go ahead and maybe look at some other upgrades as well? And that's how we landed on moving over to the 1320 rotating group. So it is tried and true technology. This is not a experiment in any way.
Because you guys done TVS.
We use the 1320 on the 4Runner kit for the 4 liters. So and this is again one of the Eaton OEM rotating groups, so the durability is well known. The nice thing about it is it's because it's about 30% bigger than the existing 6.2 unit. We're actually going to spin it slower, and it's going to actually make more or less boost because of that, but it's making the same power. So,
more volume.
The nice thing about the benefit of that is you're creating less heat. And this is our only current unit that we don't intercool because of the age of the vehicle. So less heat, that's why we're making less boost and still making more power, because there's less heat. So
well, when because we met at Overland Expo West, and I was on my bike, and I was literally just like riding around, and I saw the flags. I was like, oh, Magnuson. Oh, I gotta go talk to those guys.
We
and
talked about it a lot.
Yeah, and I
there.
rode up and I was like, oh, I want one for my truck one day. And you're like, we actually have a new one coming out.
Yeah.
That's what like got me, because I've obviously thought about this for a long time. I've looked at used ones and stuff, and the thing with the used one is it's like probably 80% you're going to be rebuilding it.
You're getting a little bit unknown,
or you just don't know what's in there,
right?
You know, and then and you're still paying for it, you know. And so when you mentioned, and plus my truck's older, higher miles, but you mentioned larger volume, brand new design with tested parts, but also lower boost pressure, cooler temperatures.
A little easier on the motor.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. It's like totally just altogether easier on the motor. So
I mean, we're really excited about it.
Yeah.
We actually love this application. We love that the Toyota owners still
they're diehard.
Diehard, that they're like, you know what, I don't care that this vehicle is way past new.
Yeah.
And that Ford and other owners are like, why would you have a truck that old?
Yeah.
But the reality is they love their trucks. They've been proven on a durability aspect, and that we're still supporting them.
Yeah.
You know, because that's not always the case in the aftermarket.
No, I mean, that's what's so crazy, is a new product for 22-year-old truck.
Vehicle, right?
Yeah, so,
not very common.
Yeah. Dude, sweet.
So no, we're so excited to hear how it goes for you.
Yeah.
And to see your adventures.
Yeah. Dude, thanks, Todd.
Good
I appreciate
you,
it. That was fun.
Have a good week, everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I think like one of the most practical tests of the Supercharger is how well can you get on the freeway. So we're getting on the freeway from a dead stop. I'm just gonna floor it. Okay, keep in mind that my truck weighs like 55 to 5,900 pounds in the way that it's set up. So that's a good 1,000 pounds more than probably most first-gen Tacomas out there. I do have 488 gears in the diffs, and I have 285, 75, 16s on it. So like 33-inch tires, 488 gearing, and it weighs over 500 or 5,500 pounds. Last time I weighed it on a trip, it was 57, but I don't have, or 59, but I don't have all that stuff in the truck. So keep that in mind. It accelerates pretty dang good. I mean, at least for a 20-year-old truck. So the other big test that was like a make or break for me for the Supercharger was going to be going up the Cuesta grade here in San Luis Obispo. It's a couple miles long, and it's like a 7% grade. If I could go up it at like 75, that would be my goal, because here we go. I'm gonna put overdrive off, and we're just gonna hang on. That guy's going really fast. See if we can maintain 75 all the way up the grade. So I feel like this is a good test, because this is kind of the situation that the truck normally sucks at with all this weight, and the camper is on long road trips, going to Portland, Oregon, or going over to Utah. There's a ton of grades, there's a ton of mountain passes, and it just feels so underpowered in those situations. And you can just barely hang on to speed. You start out at like 75, and you just start slowly going slower and slower and slower until you're like 55 or 60 miles an hour, depending on, depending on how steep the grade is. Looks like we're gonna get stopped here by Jerry's Plumbing, but you can see 75 is no problem going up this monster grade, which I think is 6 or 7%. So this is a legit grade, and Supercharger makes that all possible, which in the stock configuration with the stock 75 millimeter pulley, the boost is coming on right at above 3,000 RPMs. Slightly dangerous. Let's see if we can even accelerate up here. Okay, well, that's the top of the grade. I think if the plumbing truck hadn't pulled out in front of us, we might have been able to cruise over the top even close to 80 miles an hour. But that was the main make or break test for me, is whether or not the Supercharger was going to be worth it, because I've invested so much time into this truck, money into this truck, and I use it a lot. And a lot of the drives, a lot of the trips that I go on are long trips that involve a lot of mountain passes and a lot of climbs. And that ability to just be able to kind of drive at a normal speed, a modern normal speed, and not feel like you're just struggling, is a big deal. It kind of reduces road fatigue when you can just, when your truck has more power, it's just easier to drive. So happy to report with the new Supercharger in the stock configuration with no supporting mods other than colder spark plugs, the Denso 5310s, I think, that it just does just that. Works perfectly. Can cruise up the grade at 75. All right, so we've seen the tour of Magnuson's HQ in Ventura, and you got to see how it performed on the grade coming out of San Luis, which was kind of my biggest test for it, for how I use the truck, because I think it's best example of how it improves like my daily use, because I go up and down that just about every day. And then it's also a good test for long drives and road trips where you have a lot of mountain passes and grades. A lot more power right in that RPM range between 3,000 and above. That's really where the Supercharger starts making boost with the stock pulley. It's spinning fast enough to start making boost, and that's where you get the extra power. So it's kind of a cool, you know, there's two ways of thinking about it. Like, I kind of wish it made more boost earlier in the RPM range, just so you had more power. But at the same time, if you're looking for just daily driver reliability and long-term reliability, the fact that it's not really boosting the engine and adding more compression in the most used RPM range just driving around town is probably a good thing, especially on an engine that has almost 300,000 miles on it. So very happy with the Supercharger overall. Install was intimidating to think about in the beginning because I installed it right here in the driveway, but it came with a super clear step-by-step, like literally step-by-step guide, color printed out manual, and that was super easy to install. I also did valve cover seals at the same time, and the valve cover seals were definitely more involved than installing the Supercharger. All you really have to do is take the intake plenum off and replace it with the Supercharger and install one belt tensioner. And yeah, having done it, I would just encourage other people to not be intimidated by it. If you've done some engine work, just take your time, follow the directions step by step. It was really easy. So that's install. Basic drivability just improved all around. Just the engine feels a lot healthier. And that, again, that's with my setup, the giant camper, the extra weight, all that kind of stuff. So another big thing is people are probably asking fuel mileage. I have not figured out what the fuel mileage is yet, because it is way worse at the moment, but that's because I'm flooring it like everywhere. The last week and a half, last 2 weeks, I've just been going up and down that grade at full speed, roasting around town, trying to peel out, like just feeling the power and trying to, you know, just experience the Supercharger. So I don't really have an idea of how much worse the range will be on a single tank of gas, but it's definitely impacted it. It's definitely impacted it. I haven't made it to 200 miles on a single tank of gas yet. And that used to be kind of where I was, 200 to 215. Keep in mind, again, that's my setup, and that is driving around at 75 to 80 miles an hour on the freeway. So yeah, it's definitely made the gas mileage worse, but it's made it a lot more fun to drive. As far as supporting mods go for the setup I have right now, I just installed the Supercharger straight on. It ran, started up like better than ever. Like first start, just cranked over and started up immediately with brand new stock plugs. Not even colder plugs. I ran it like that for a week. No pinging, no like signs of anything going wrong, just working perfectly. I did install the colder plugs. S&P Speed Shop really advised doing that, and I put that in just to make sure that I don't have any pinging in the future. And oh, camera's pulling up. I'm gonna cut back once they get inside. Okay, so for supporting mods, what did I have to do to the truck before I installed the Supercharger? pretty much nothing except for refresh stuff. I did fresh wires and fresh plugs. I did the Denso 5310s, which are colder iridium plugs. And I also did a fuel filter and valve cover gasket seals. So just kind of regular maintenance stuff, refreshing it, make sure all that stuff's up to speed before you add a little bit of boost to the truck. But other than that, bolted it on, started it right up. It's been awesome just on its own. In the future, I do plan to keep modifying it because it's addicting, wanting to have more power. And of course, you can spin the supercharger faster and make more power. So I don't know, I'm kind of in a unique position where I have opportunity to get these parts at a discount or work with companies on them, promoting them, and just kind of showing you my experience with them. And so I kind of want to follow that rabbit trail and see where we can go. I think I'm going to be able to go down to MagnaFlow exhaust in San Diego and put the truck on a dyno and put an exhaust on it and stuff. So if I'm able to do that, I will probably push the limit of how much power we can make just so we could document it and share it with you. I think it would be really fun. But right now, in stock configuration, no other mods to the truck, the Supercharger makes a huge impact on daily driving if you have a setup like mine. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.